Let me guess. You told yourself that 2025 was going to be the year. The year you'd finally quit. The year you would finally stop dragging yourself to that desk. The year you'd finally reclaim your Tuesdays. And yet, you're still here. The Sunday scaries, they still hit you at 5 p.m. You're still missing your kids' lives while Excel spreadsheets get the best of you. But here is what's different about 2026. You are not going to wing it this time. You are going to architect it. And I'm going to show you how. Hi, Shannon Baird, Mama 4, corporate dropout, and your freedom architect. If you're ready to make 2026 the year that you actually exit and not just fantasize about it, this is your roadmap. Okay, let's be real for a minute. Every single January, millions of corporate people say, "This is going to be my year, finally." They buy all of the planners, they watch all of the motivational content, they even tell their spouse, "Hey, this is it. I'm serious this time." And yet, come March, they're back on the hamster wheel, spinning and spinning and spinning again. The same dread, the same Sunday scaries, the same fear, the same feeling of absolute disappointment. The reason I know that story is because that person was me. I was that person every single year. I would tell my husband, Kevin, "This is it. This is the best idea I've ever had. I'm going to do it this time." And he would very sweetly say, "Okay, that's great." Move along. I have over 14 different business ideas that are complete failures. I never finished it because of fear, because of all of the extra planning without actually doing. You know that feeling? But in 2025, on Valentine's Day, mind you, yeah, irony not lost on me, I got laid off. And at first I had a moment of freak out, a real moment. After I got over the shock of it all, because it was not expected, my entire body just took a deep breath. That layoff was the gift and the kick in the ass that I really needed to get my shit together and finally to build something I was proud of, to move past that fear, to move past worrying what other people would think. And that's exactly what I want for every single exhausted corporate mom out there. And that's exactly why I do this thing that I do. I'm going to show you the 5-step system to build your own roadmap so that you're not like me and you're laid off and have to scramble and figure it out. I want you to build that bridge from corporate life to your dream life without the pressure of having to feed your kids and pay the mortgage. I want you to go from someday I'll quit all the way down to a date on the calendar, because someday is a date, whether you put it in your calendar or not, it's going to happen. So let's figure out how to build that dream life and get you out of the corporate grind. So we start with step number 1, calculate your freedom number. And when I say a freedom number, this is the monthly amount that you need to bring home to pay your bills and to have a little bit extra to feel free. Okay, your freedom number, it consists of 3 separate numbers that we then add together. So your first one is your baseline, and that is just to keep the lights on, so to speak. Paying the mortgage, the rent, utilities, feeding your family, whatever the bottom line, just to exist, that's your baseline. And then the next one is your add-ons. So I want you to think about hobbies, maybe kids' activities. We're not talking major vacations and all of this. We're talking enough to get you out of the grind, but still having a little bit to have fun. So take that number. And then the last one is your safety buffer. And this is about 20% or so, more to calm your crazy brain that will probably invite plenty of stories. It's to account for the things of life that always seem to happen. Your kids scribbling on the wall and you need to go buy a gallon of paint, or your washing machine deciding that it's not going to work anymore. Those kinds of things. So then we take all of those three together, add them up, and that's your freedom number. That's the number that you would need to make every month just to get out of corporate, to give your notice. If you're like me and you rely on your wonderful partner for their math skills, in the description is my 2-hour corporate exit launch pad, which has your plan. It goes through step by step how to architect your exit, but it also, I think, is the coolest thing. It has a calculator where you can put in all of your different expenses. You can get as granular as you want or as broad as you want, makes no difference. And it will go through and it will calculate all of it for you. And at the end, you'll have a date to put on your calendar, to actually put on your calendar. I think it is the coolest thing. So if you want that, check it out in the description. For step 2, we get a little bit serious. We are going to audit your corporate STDs. And I hear you thinking, what are STDs? Those are socially transmitted diseases. These are the beliefs that are so ingrained in us we don't even realize we have them. They come from society, our family of origin, our industry we're in. They come from all of these places and we've absorbed them, assuming that they're real until they just don't work for us anymore. So socially transmitted disease. Here are the big 6 STDs that I see and I have even had to work through. So if you take away nothing from this entire video, I want you to take away this slide and these 6 STDs and start to think about your own life. Okay? So number 1 is the safety cage myth. And this is that somehow your corporate job is security. We no longer live in the world where you get a job, you go to college, you get a job, and you're there for the next, 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is, and then you retire and they pay you to retire. Corporate loyalty is dead. Your corporate job is no longer safe, as we've seen with so many layoffs right now. The layoffs in January were equal to back in, I think going backwards, the last time was 2009. So right after the 2008 crash was the last time we saw layoffs as bad as they are right now. Corporate is not safe, but your own autonomy and what you can create, that's your safety. Okay, now we have number 2. That is that your salary equals status syndrome. Girl, let me tell you, the money that you make is not who you are. It is not who you are. It doesn't dictate your value at all. Even the homeless person who is sleeping in a tent on the side of the road has value. Your paycheck is not your value. Number 3, productivity poisoning. And this is one for me personally that it's a struggle. I'll be honest. I struggle with this one all the time, my entire life. I know where it stems from. It stems from my own family of origin, where if you slept in on Saturday, you were made fun of and called lazy. It didn't matter that I went to school all day on Friday, came home, put on my work uniform, and worked a 6-hour shift. None of that mattered. If I slept in at all on Saturday, I was lazy. And then this also is exacerbated by hustle culture. Just do it. Just fuck your feelings and just move along. Well, let me tell you what. Until somebody who has gone through perimenopause can say fuck your feelings, then maybe I'll listen to you. But anyways, so productivity poisoning is massive, 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 massive. Your body requires rest. It cannot be on all day. That is just biology, okay? You do not have to do anything to earn a rest time. Number 4 is perfectionism paralysis. Another one that I'm very, very actively working on. Even in this video, I realized my mic was not attached until like just maybe 2 minutes ago. And so my audio's for the first part of the video not going to be wonderful. But you know what? I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just going to continue. I'm not going to re-record. I'm just going to continue. With oftentimes we plan and we plan and we plan and we never execute anything. And so this is just mental masturbation, really, and letting our fear take over. So ask yourself, what have you been planning and planning and planning and not executing on? And what messy action can you actually take? The next one is gratitude guilt. Oh, in our society, this one is so huge for women. Corporate has weaponized gratitude against women. We're told just to be thankful that we have a job, just to be thankful that we can show up every day and get used and abused. We don't have to put up with it. We can be both thankful for what we have and ambitious for wanting more. That doesn't make us a bitch. That doesn't make us some crazy person or some person who's not grateful. It doesn't. Both gratitude and ambition can coexist together. Number 6 is resume identity disorder. You know that person who every time you talk to them, they give you this rundown of who they are. You meet them the first time and they're like, I am so-and-so, and I worked here, and I worked here, and I did this, and this is my title. I'm talking about that. The titles on our resume are not who we are. Who we are is how we love other people. Who we are is in the hobbies that we enjoy. It's in the experience and wisdom that life has given us. That is who we are. We are not a title. Our worth, it doesn't matter. It doesn't depend on a title. It doesn't depend on a paycheck. You are worthy because you exist on this planet at this time. There's a reason for it. Think about all the things that had to happen for you just to be in this moment watching this video. You're worthy as you are today, regardless of your title. Okay, now that we have talked about the 6 most important, I think, or the most prevalent, there's a better word, most prevalent socially transmitted diseases that I see. If this resonates at all with you, in the description is also abandon quiz. What did corporate force you to abandon? Take the quiz. It's free. It's this really, really cool AI tool. But it will help you take that next step to rediscover that person that you've had to brush aside to be in the corporate life. For step 3, this is about building your exit bridge. We don't have to burn the bridges down and just run away. The whole goal is to slowly build that exit so you don't trigger your nervous system. So you begin to trust yourself that you can do this. Here is the 1-year plan for you to actually have something at the end of 2026. So you can be like, oh my God, I'm actually gonna do it this time. Maybe even put in your 2-week notice. Depends on how much of an overachiever that you want to be. Okay, so month 1 through 3, we're gonna set the foundation. We're gonna figure out our freedom number. We're gonna start doing some things to regulate our nervous system because we cannot build a dream life if we're frazzled and always constantly freaking out. That's really, really important. And then also finding community, other women, other people who are wanting to achieve the same kind of outcome. Maybe that's a Facebook group. Maybe there's a pod that you can start at your job of other people and meet on your lunch break and talk about what's happening. But month 1 through 3 is all about creating the foundation and the space to then build the thing. So then month 4 through 6 is we're going to start figuring out what even we're going to be doing in the first place. So this is about business clarity. We're going to come up with our business idea and then we're going to start. I advise people to start with consulting. It's the easiest way. I'll link a YouTube video that I did on that timeline that I suggest for people to go through. Don't do what I did and go straight to digital products because you have no audience. It takes a lot longer. Take it from me. It's like should be the meme. Don't do what Shannon did. But month 4 through 6 is all about figuring that out. And if you go through the roadmap, there's also an offering within there for a course if you're really stuck on a business idea. Or you can check out my channel because I have those videos also. And then we have month 7 through 12. And this is where we actually start putting meat on the bone and start moving forward. You're going to build while you're still employed. Think of your job as your experiment ground. So say for instance, you've realized you need to work on your speaking skills, public speaking skills. You want to make content, talking head content like this, and you just are terrified. So maybe you speak up in meetings more. Maybe you even offer to lead some meetings at work. But use your job as your playground to build the skills that you need while you're building your thing on the side. Nights, weekends. We now have, I call them the robots because I use multiple AI tools every single day. But we have the robots, and this is such a unique time to be able to use those tools to go so much faster. Every day, I feel like I'm cheating sometimes. How fast I can go using all of my little robot tools. It's phenomenal. We're in unprecedented times. But that would be month 7 through 12. And then we have month 12 and moving forward. Depending on how quickly you've been able to achieve the other milestone markers and get things going, as well as how much you need your freedom number. You know, if you don't need that much, especially if you're paying for childcare, you probably don't. Childcare and taxes. Let me tell you, those two things eat up your paycheck like nothing else. So maybe it's 12 months, maybe it's 18 months, whatever that is. But around 12 months, you'll start to be able to make that transition plan and have the date on your calendar. I don't know how many times I can repeat it. Someday is a date. Someday's gonna happen, whether we plan it or not. So let's plan it and have a life that we love rather than a life that is done to us. Okay, so there is your roadmap for this year. I know earlier I alluded to this step with your nervous system, but I do think that it warrants its own step and its own focus. We cannot create magic from an unregulated nervous system. And I would even argue most of us walking around the world today don't have a regulated nervous system. So think about you're waiting for an appointment and you want to get on your phone and start scrolling and you just have that need to do it, like almost like an addiction, like you just have to, right? That's an unregulated nervous system. Or it's 8 o'clock at night, the house is quiet, and you're like, oh, I need to check my work email. That's an unregulated nervous system. Or your kid does something and it's so minor, and it just sends you over the top. Again, unregulated nervous system. We cannot build our dream life if our bodies are physically always freaking out. So here is what a regulated nervous system actually looks like, okay? Think about this and how you feel after you take a big, deep breath. So it looks like sleeping 8 full hours instead of 5. Doing all the things to make sure your sleep hygiene, I think that's such a weird way to say it, but that's what it's called. Your sleep hygiene before bed so that your body's actually ready to get rest. Taking an actual lunch break, not working through lunch. This gives your brain a moment to breathe. What would it be like if every day you ate your lunch staring outside? No sounds, nothing. You're just staring outside and eating your lunch. Or if you love to chat with people, you sit down and you have a conversation with somebody about life, not work, but just life. What would that look like? How would that feel in your body? Putting your phone away at night. I know this is big. I have 2 rules in my life. 1, I do not make any purchases after dinner time. Period. Full stop. No purchases after dinner time at all. The other one is that after 8 o'clock, I don't respond to text messages. I don't respond to anything on my phone. None. I won't even check text. I won't check email. Nothing after 8 o'clock. I need that time for my brain to disconnect from the world. So make up some little rules for yourself. And again, that sleep hygiene, because sleep is so important. It's just, I think it's the catalyst. You don't sleep well, you're going to need more coffee, you're going to want sugar, then your body's going to be inflamed, you're going to feel like shit, and then you're not going to sleep well. Like, it's just this continuous cycle that you get in. And then these are some of my favorite hobbies that I like, but practicing moving your body slowly. And I know this is hard, speaking very, very much from experience, going back to when we talked about productivity and hustle culture and the STDs. Retraining our bodies that it's safe to slow down is so incredibly important. And I really think that that's why I call it granny hobbies. I think that that's why granny hobbies are making such a comeback, because it's helping people to slow down and to really pay attention. This is the biggest one. Saying no without guilt. I want your automatic response when someone asks you to do something to say no. Just try it. Just try it for a week. You can always pedal back and say, oh, you know what? I thought about that and I've changed my mind. I'll say yes. You can always pedal back, but it's a lot harder to say yes and then pedal back to no. You don't have to feel guilty for saying no when it's something that you need to feed yourself, to feed your soul, to feed your body in. I know I didn't put this on the STD slide, but it doesn't pertain necessarily to corporate. I call it the busy mom badge, where we feel like we constantly have to be going and going and going and doing. And if we're not in 5 million different activities, then somehow we're not a good mom. We don't have to. We don't have to do anything. You don't. Legally, you're required to feed your children and to give them a house. And you definitely should give them love and a safe environment. And they should feel that they are worthy outside of anything else, just as they are because you love them. That's it. You don't have to say yes to happy hour if you're exhausted. You don't have to say yes, okay? No guilt. Live life with no guilt. This is so important. I could just talk on and on and on, and how much focusing on these things for myself has revolutionized my life. So important to give to yourself first, because we cannot give from an empty cup. We are now on to the very last step. This is where all of the magic comes together and happens. So you've calculated your freedom number. You've diagnosed your primary corporate STDs that you want to work on. You've started building your bridge. You've started to identify some areas to regulate your nervous system. And now it's time to actually commit. I want you to pull out a calendar. I know you're going to resist, and it's a little scary, and you'll probably have lots of feelings. Feel the feels and do it anyways. I want you to pull out your calendar and put a date on it. The date's going to come and go regardless, but having a date on the calendar means that it's more of a project to work on and to figure out. You have a deadline. I don't know why deadlines tell our brain to get it in gear and get it done. I don't know. I'm sure there's some psychology behind all of that. Like, think about if you were in college or even high school and you had homework done. You had homework due and you waited till the last minute and you were one of those people. I don't know why deadlines, but regardless, a deadline. I want you to put a date on your calendar. I want you to write this date on a sticky note, put it on your mirror in your bathroom. I want you to put it in your car, on your dashboard, wherever you're going to see this date constantly, to remind you that A, it's real, but B, to motivate you to do something every day. Even if it's just something little every day to move you forward to that date. Because now we have a deadline. Now it turns into a project to be done rather than some sort of mental masturbation, a hope and a dream that's probably never going to happen. Okay? Calendar, date, now. Here's what I really, really, really need you to understand. That corporate is no longer the safe choice for us. We have to start betting on ourselves and doing the things ourselves. We live in unprecedented times, as I mentioned before. We've got AI, lack of corporate loyalty. We just live in this wild, wild, wild time right now. You are your own security. We can no longer depend on outside forces to take care of us. The more that we depend on those outside sources, the more we're going to be forced to grind and grind and grind, and then ultimately have more disappointment. So, I want you to take these 5 steps, and even if you have to watch it with a pen and paper, great. Or you can do one thing that I like to do. Here, I'll give you a little cheat code. I'll watch a video, and then if you scroll to the bottom of the description on any video, you can see the transcript. So you can take the transcript, you can copy and paste the transcript of the video into ChatGPT, or my favorite is Claude, and then you can ask it questions. Summarize it, help me make a plan based on this video, whatever you want to ask. Cool cheat code. I do it all the time. It's so awesome. But I want you to have a plan. I want this to be your year that you finally are so excited and so proud of yourself. It's going to be amazing. Bet on yourself. And it can be your year, but you have to stop waiting for permission. I want you to give yourself permission. Permission to say no to people, permission to take messy action and it not be okay. Give yourself the permission. 2026 can be different, but you have to do the work to make it different. So let's agree to make someday a date. YouTube thinks you'll like this next video.